ID 也是有分很多种，有一些他们有一种空间感，比较 details 的。
What we design shape their habits, shape their behavior in a better way.
有一些就是我们叫 sales ID，
很多问题的。
对，
我指你，你指我，
所以我们就需要解释给他们啦，这些小数的问题了。
Anything that is wrong, then it's going to be a chain of work to be done.
And that's the scary part, because that's usually where scams start happening.
It seems to be a reflection of this world that we live in.
A home itself, right? You don't have to do everything at once. You live in it first before you perfect it.
Always remember to see the price first before you ask the designer to proceed.
Renovation isn't just about tiles and mood boards. It's about people and the personalities, as well as the stories that help make the decisions. I'm Astley, aka The Designer. Join me for the Season 2 of the SIXiDER Show.
你的 job 因为是打了嘛 ，What is that one job 啊？很多时候 right, people misunderstand about 你做的东西。
其实也不完全是误解了。因为到了这个位置真的是很重要的，对一间家来讲。因为它是 based on 整间家，一开始黑个完了，把它吹到完。then 到了进场就是要把所有的东西，就是它的 base 做上来，过后就有 carpenter 玻璃、电、水，我们所做的东西都是预算那一些刚刚好的位置给他们的，很重要。
基础啦，
对，
就是基础搞错了，然后什么东西都会跟着一连串的错。
对，
打个比方，
比如说一间家会有玻璃，会有门，会有墙，会有厨之类的东西。so 这些东西其实刀乐都要知道的。OK， 刀乐为什么要知道？就是他要知道你这个厨是怎样设计，然后空间我要留多少，尺寸方面我全部要帮他去想。而且刚才我讲的 space， 比如说他的 shower area， 他要做一个玻璃门。OK， 玻璃门 swing door，swing door 你还要有一个空间给他的门可以开，所以就是挤压那一个尺寸。所以刀乐必须要知道这个东西，不然的话做了又做，做了又做，所以那个 costing 就会很高。
我问这个很奇怪的问题了，你会不会有那种情况啊？就是因为 ID， 因为你拿到项目了，那肯定是 ID 已经把这个项目已经卖给了 homeowner 接受了，价钱也谈妥了，你才开工的嘛，对吗？会不会有那种情况，就是说你开到一半，然后你去问那个 ID， 然后那个 ID 跟你讲说，这个会给老人家用的，什么什么什么，然后你就想，不对嘞，这样的话还做这样的 box up， 剩下来怎么用？老人家很容易跌倒还是什么？你会不会插手，然后跟那个 ID 讲你做错了？
我会 advise。
这样会不会吵架？
不会吵架。
不会吵架
不会吵架。
来，你 explain 一下有没有故事？
对 ，OK，ID 也是有分很多种，有一些他们有一种空间感，比较 details 的，有一些就是我们叫 sales ID，sales ID 就是他 sales 就算了的 then 就是做，
有点不负责任那种了。
我不可以这样讲啦，因为都是我老板嘛。
我帮你讲，
我是有这样的感觉，所以当他们跟我讲的时候，有两种情况，一种是负责的，就会跟我说，他要这样的东西，连我就会跟他 make sure 一下，
就是他请教你了。
OK， 我们会跟他 make sure 一下这个空间感对吗？他说，OK， 有一些就是完全就是交给我们了，因为他们就是 sales ID 嘛，他交给我们，然后我们就跟他量，抓那个空间感给他。所以我们一定要 advise 他的，不然他给我尺寸，我做出来过后，他转一个头就讲，Keong啊，怎么啊？你做错了嘞。
推卸责任。
对。
OK， 好，那 Wesley
Usually, what's the first thing that we do is that we go on site. That means we do the first site hacking, site meeting, before we start the hacking. Okay, that's a very important thing. And then second thing is our video. The video of what are the hacking details to be done. Okay, certain IDs they will give you the correct information on site because sometimes they need to confirm with the owners, and sometimes the owner cannot confirm on the site. Then we will have to hold certain area that cannot be hacked until the owner have to confirm. Before we start hacking, we will take this video as a proof. Example, let's say we are hacking the kitchen, we are hacking the toilet or anywhere in the site. Then we have the video to show the owner and the ID as well that this is actually being discussed on site. And we have the confirmation and the acknowledgement from the owner and the ID as well.
So you walk through and then you point, this wall you want to hack, this cabinet 要保留, this one is to remove.
Yes,
like
correct. Because this video is a very important thing that all the supplier can refer back if there is any incident happen. Yeah, because without the video, there will be many discrepancies.
死无对证啊。
Yeah, 很多问题的。
对。
等一下，我指你，你指我。Thirdly, sometimes the ID might give the wrong information. Yeah, then we might hack wrong. Then that is when the Towler will come in to patch up the work. The first people to enter is hacking, then followed by toweling, and then etc. etc. So we are actually the important party as well. That anything that is wrong, then it's going to be a chain of series of work to be done. Okay. Then of course there are many issues that we face on hacking. Like for example, other than dealing with the owner, dealing with the ID, we need to deal with the resident there as well.
Noise pollution.
Noise pollution, then tons of complaints and all this. 每个人会误解讲说，为什么你要 hack 到这么大声？为什么你要弄脏这个地方？我们 hack 没有办法小声的，
轻一点
啊。有很多人会讲说
轻
轻一点，人不是说我们不要轻一点，是没有办法，因为我们要快。It's a very difficult on my end to have a balance between me, my worker, the owner, the resident, and the area.
HDB 它一定是给你是3天 ，condo 呢
Most of them are 3 days hacking. We will actually inform the neighbors 5 days in advance that we are going to do the renovation for this site.
courtesy 啦。
Yes, it's actually a rules and regulation by the HDB.
Yes.
Then we need to inform the neighbor upstairs, left, right, and down. Condo, the MCSD, they will inform them.
Or they'll paste at the somewhere, right?
Yes, correct. Next thing, I need to know whether it's old flats or new flat. Because old flats, the foundation of the flooring and the neighbor staying downstairs, their ceiling is old. And sometimes, back in the past 20, 30 years, maybe the cement screening is very thin.
Technology not so good.
Yes. And maybe the waterproofing don't have already. You know, there might be leakage and all this. So I need to do site meeting with the ID, and or maybe me myself, I need to go down to the neighbor house, which is the one staying downstairs. Because example, we hack the house and the flooring, the tiles, the cement will break. Then the neighbor staying downstairs, their ceiling might crack. Or maybe their ceiling already cracked. So I need to get my supervisor or me myself to go down to take the video as proof that it's already cracked. And from there, I need to inform toweling, plastering, and painter, but through the ID, because they're going to do the touch-up for them. Yeah, even though it's not caused by us, but we still need to do the touch-up for the neighbors staying downstairs. Their owners call me, they straight away shout at me over the phone. I try to talk to them, or even sometimes when I go to the site, because I will go around the site and all this. So when I met these people, they will try to shout at me, you know, but I also need to become a psychologist apart from hacking.
Need to have a high EQ lah.
Yeah. So I need to talk to them in a very nice way, and then I need to calm myself down.
And still make money.
Yeah. Which is a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
祥盛 your turn.
大多数误解是因为有些墙壁他们已经是旧屋子啦，或者它墙壁已经很多年了，
有水汽。
对，有水汽或者它凹凸不平啦，所以他们 expect 觉得你油过后我的墙壁会变 even，smooth 美美，可是 actually 不会啦，因为 painting 是 paint on the surface 嘛 itself， 它不会去 cure 它的 unevenness， 所以每当油完，他会觉得为什么我的墙壁凹凸不平，为什么你的边的 quality 或者你的 workmanship 不是那么好，所以我们就需要解释给他们啦这些，所以 actually 这些凹凸不平的东西是 part of plastering instead of painting。
有些时候那些广告也没有帮助你啦，这些广告他们会做那种这样有 elasticity， 然后就跟那个 public 讲说它能够补那个洞。Is it true?
Somehow depend on the paint type.
Okay.
But 你问我 about 那个 elastic 的那个 material 的东西是 more to the external surface， 因为 when there is hairline crack no matter what 我们需要去补它的嘛。我们需要去补它打底，然后才油那个 finishing coat。但是如果你直接去 direct 油它的话，它是不会 cure 那个 crack line 啊这些的问题啦。但是如果那些小小的洞的话哦，你 directly 油它，因为我们边有一点的那个边 film 的那个 thickness 嘛，所以它还是会盖得过。But 这个是小数啦，小数的问题了。
那定我知道的就是其实我们新加坡很潮湿嘛，所以很多时候呢。我们可能会忽略，就是说油漆是不能够解决很多问题。if 这间屋只是本身有潮湿、有霉菌的问题，
对，最大的因素有3种。第一种是因为很多长期时间他们开住那个空调 aircon 啊，他们没有关你会发现到其实很多的 homeowner 他们都不关 aircon 的。对，所以造成说他的房间其实是 is not 没有通风嘛。对，然后。第二的问题是，很多人关注那个窗口，他们不开窗口，厕所也是他们可能洗澡过后，他们的那些气温是烧的嘛，然后这些东西会变潮湿，然后久而久之它就变成霉菌嘛。第三是比较少数，但是还是常见的是它的周围环境。So if let's say we look at the atmosphere surrounding， 它是很多那种forest area。plantation 的 area， 他们有时候就是你懂风吹这些，他们会造成他们的那个 mold growth issue 也是蛮快的。
好像我记得好像有一段时间神杠有几个主屋上报纸嘛，
对，
就是它的建筑外面就一直有很多霉菌。
对，
而且它是 next to 一个 forest area 咯。
对。
所以你的 job 是 identify 是它的 cause 先。
对。
然后 after that 你就会 propose treatment。我
们会去 propose treatment。
Okay, so just now I talk about meeting IDs, right? And then I show my budget, right? And then my budget is quite low. It's like 30-40K. But that time, I say including furniture. So do y'all think that's one of the reasons why IDs don't take that kind of homeowners?
You come first?
I don't think so. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone will have their wish list, their wants and their needs. So it's up to the designer to actually find out more. Normally, for my practice, I don't ask my clients for their budget. I'll ask them, tell me what do you need. So we prepare everything. So at least you know what is the full amount that will cost you if you want to do everything. So from there, I will leave it to the homeowners to actually decide which one is more important. Because a home itself, right, you don't have to do everything at once. Certain things that, of course, we have to do first. But I always tell them, you live in it first before you perfect it. And I don't say that, come in with a $10,000 budget. No, I don't take it. Or $20,000 budget, we don't take it. It's very important because we need to know what do they want. Sometimes I say, I only got $30,000 budget. Show me the mood board. Wow. All the design, fluted panel, everything, curve designs. Then we have to actually manage expectations really, because if not, later on, homeowners will think that designers are trying to, take out a chopper and chop them and say, you got to top up for this, you got to top up for that. So I think it's about what we actually say communication is very important.
I think maybe there are some of the designers who just stop servicing you because they look at your budget, they think it's not relevant. Maybe. And but me myself, like what Shaun did, I don't chase customer away. I won't stop service customer because of the budget issue. Because I always believe people don't tell the truth when it comes to budget. And or maybe like you keep on mention, you are the first time homeowner, you are not familiar with the budget planning. You thought like just on what you confessed just now, you at first you thought 40,000 include the furniture, but after you realize is you need to put it aside. You see, so all these things you need to be communicate, and then everybody need to be educated, especially you are the first time homeowner. Budget is something I would say it's not like fixed in this amount.
Fluid.
Yeah, it's fluid. It's a fluid item. Then you may want to change it to higher and lower. So along the way, things get changed. So therefore, to understand homeowner requirement, like today's topic, the communication is very, very important. So we know what is the factor you're supposed to focus and spend the budget wisely for every individual.
Well said. Earlier on, we say people choose people, and many a times during first meeting is very hard. Like what Averse said, it's very hard for people to
really understand.
Yeah, really understand, really know the true budget. And I've been in the trade for so long, right? The day I joined till today, 30,000, right, this number is still floating in the air. Always talk about 30,000, right? And that's like 30 years ago. Inflation don't know like GST also go up 9%, but we're still using 30,000 as a benchmark. And like if I were to ask you the question, how do you come up with 30,000? How did you or 40,000, including furnishing? The truth is you also don't know. It's probably you hear it somewhere and you think that no, then from where? You really budgeted.
That's all I can afford.
Oh, that's what you can afford. Yeah, but you see, affordability times priority is what the designer is trying to understand. What there's a budget for everyone. No, even the richest person in the world would not anyhow spend if it's not necessary. And what is necessary or priority, right, is the discovery process between the designer and the homeowner throughout this period of time. And it's a continuing loop that would eventually end at the day when the house is completed, and then this is really what you spend. And then all the things inside there, right, if going by your wishes, should be your priorities. And I think that's really the deal here. Not the day they sit down and then do the quotation and then sign off. That's just the beginning of things. So for those who didn't take on your job and all that, too bad for them. They didn't go through that process with you, and then too bad for you also because you didn't. You could have also gotten more from them in a sense that they could have tell you how you could have afford things better, or maybe you could have look at how you could prioritize certain things better. It will be about very real fundamental functional needs down the road, like in the next 2 or 3 years, and those kind of things you don't think about it now. Later you're gonna regret one.
But I think 30K, maybe like homeowners think that can 30K because, there's a lot of renovation packages. Then it's like 2,888. Then maybe they want to like try their luck.
I think it's possible using that 20,000 to done the renovation, but that depends how much item that you're going to proceed later on.
Like minimal.
What does it mean minimal? What's your definition for minimal, you see?
Kitchen.
Yeah, kitchen 30K, okay.
Possible.
Kitchen, master, bedroom, carpentry.
So the minimum from 1 they become 4.
The 2 toilets.
I see 6 already.
And the TV console.
7.
Okay.
I think it's doable.
No, it's doable. I mean,
Yeah.
firstly, HDB is supposed to be a solution for a very wide spectrum of homeowners in Singapore.
Yes.
Right? And so we all exist in this market to serve this group of homeowners. So there will always be an idea that will take the job on. But the problem is whenever you have that kind of situation where very tight budget and then you mix with, let's say, one ID who say that, yeah, can be done everything you want and can still do it at a fantastic price, whereas the rest of the world, the rest of the ID trade are saying that this is not doable at this price, then that's the scary part. Because that's usually where scams start happening. And I think we covered that many times before already, is that they will lowball. Because this climate, right, there will always be people who are desperate enough to anyhow say, and then homeowners who are hopeful enough that they 捡到便宜捡到宝.
We can do our part. We can be very open, very honest to tell you what we can do for you and what we can't do for you. Because yes, even though we are yes men, but at times if there are certain things that I cannot deliver, I have to tell you first because I cannot overpromise. At the end of the day, if I can't deliver, it's my reputation at stake also. So I think most designers, we are in this line for the long run. So we always take our reputation. So that's why we always don't overpromise. But whatever it is, we will tell the owners what we can do and what we can't do. So reflects what Astley say, because there are designers out there who are really desperate. They will throw in a lot of freebies, hob, hood, I'll give you freebies, fridge, TV, upgrade, everything upgrade.
But it's music to your ears, what?
No, yeah. So if the designer say okay to your low budget, then will they like under the VO thingy they add in more stuff? First of all, can explain what is VO?
So variation orders will be things that are not in the initial contract. So for example, when we measure for a kitchen countertop, so it's about, in the contract stated 15 feet, but we do measurement, it's 15.5 feet. So the additional 0.5 feet, we may have to charge the owner 0.5 feet. So if we measure 14.5 feet, I will take out the 0.5 feet from the owner, because what we do, we charge. What we don't do, we don't charge. It's fair enough. Sometimes, like I mentioned, if the contract is very low, some designers, what they can do is to actually recoup back whatever that, to bring up their profit margin. They will charge you extremely high. Anything, they can just mark up super high. The costing can be $300. They'll tell you, okay, it's $3,000. Because the contract is already signed. nothing you can do.
I think the contract in Singapore is protecting both party. Before you sign, you have all right to stop it and then to get for the alternative. But of course, you must communicate carefully for both party to let the designer understand, hey, you want to take out from this item from contract. Don't later on you buy already, then he still charge you again for this one, then you are paying double. Yeah, so I think variation order is good to cushion it before things execute. Always remember to see the price first before you ask the designer to proceed. Okay, you don't ask him to proceed without seeing the price. Then the price come in later, you jump.
I don't know about all the ID firms and how they are practicing. The correct legal stance in this is from quotation. Then the next step should be, if you confirm, you pay a deposit to the quotation. But once the design is out, then the service agreement comes out. Service agreement is a legal and binding contract, which by that point should detail all the things that's captured in the drawings and as per your wish. Then from there, you have variation order. Because if it's quotation to variation order, right, by legal stance, right, it's basically saying the quotation is never finalized to begin with. Signing off that is not finalized for quotation. It should be supposed to be a service agreement. Okay, then the other issue here is that there are people who say the variation order, they agree to it, but then at the end of the day, right, homeowners don't want to pay. On the side of the designers, I think we also face that kind of problem also.
But they can don't pay.
Very good question.
They will argue.
Very good question.
I'm sure you all got, yeah. Lai.
Touch wood lah, so far haven't lah. Yeah, but I hear of stories that yes, got owners, then you chao kwan lor, don't pay. So I have colleagues who really go out, haven't installed finish, right? Take down everything. I mean, to be fair lah, we have to protect ourselves. Of course, homeowners always talk about horror stories about
Designer no good, contractor no good.
no good, take money, run away or stuff like that. But designers ourselves, we are very scared also. You know, if owners don't pay, we are the one who are going to bear the responsibility and the cost of everything also as well.
To be honest, right, functions evolve. It's like you evolve, right? From not having a kid to having a kid, from not wanting a dog, then suddenly say, hey, let's have a dog. And your function suddenly evolved. But that space was designed with some permanence in mind, right? That this function is like that. Then how? Is it even an important discussion? You know, because like you, I think all designers were schooled that way. Form follows function. Yeah, but then the function evolves so rapidly, right? Even the way like today social media and all, right, it's like feelings is a function. Then is it even an important topic? Because previously a lot of things are more permanent than today. But today's context is that things are less permanent. A home probably last time can, take care of a kid for like 20, 30 years, until the kid grows up, marry off and all that. Today we're looking at people looking at MOP, 5 year, then move on, right? Maybe 10 years, and typically they basically go with the next property, So then is even function important?
I don't think we can take function out of the equation because if you do, then what exactly are we designing for? There's no parameter, no brief. The only response to that would be to design a blank canvas, which could be a brief, and then work not so much with custom builds and built-ins, like very purpose-driven pieces of fixed furniture, but to cater for and enable usage and function through things that are mobile, things that are configurable. That seems to be something that we utilize quite often these days because you're right. Our lifestyles, our personalities can evolve quite quickly. I don't know what's happening. Things just move so quickly now. And to design so full on in a way like a hotel room, everything is fixed in. Like you don't want things to move. Only chairs you can move around. Right now we design with some kind of flexibility in mind, not just the way furniture are used, but the way rooms kind of commutate. I spoke about this a little bit earlier. But I think it's a result of being superbly functionally driven because you're anticipating function not just in the now, but let's say in 3 months' time, 3 years' time, and 5 years when eventually the property gets sold, and then and then the users and our clients want to have something that they invested a lot of money on. A renovation is a lot of money. Even if it's 30K, that's a lot of money. They want to be able to know that whatever investment I'm putting in, I can take some of that with me. To answer that question, no, you can't take function out at all. Because otherwise, then what is the meaning of design?
Again, contextual, depending on what we are looking at. If we have a smart home scenario, and I was just having a conversation with a few smart home sellers, and one of the things that had brought up was that maybe the aspect of smart home has this very permanent and expensive element to it. Like, okay, we're going to do it, and it's all going to be wired, and then it's going to go to my DB box. I'm going to have drivers here and there. Then it's expensive, but technology just keep coming, and then it's going to be cheaper. And then, I'm going to be wasting that money, so don't do. I do piecemeal. And so the function is not designed in, or the smart home functions are not designed in. I'll just look at it piecemeal. And I'm saying this is because designers, right, you are kind of like designing a lifestyle. When we talk about residences, it's designing a pattern of usage. You're saying that the person's flow from waking up to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to then the hall, and then after that eventually going out of the house, and coming back, and so on and so forth, right? The actions, right, is a pattern that you're designing. And some of this integrates with technology, some of it integrates with hobbies, aspiration, and all that, but that's evolving so quickly. How can you know so much and anticipate all this and then put this into a permanent design that you can design the lifestyle, you can design the pattern of usage?
Just now, as you said, it moves so fast, and especially for the technology, sometimes when we cater for the smart home for the current time, you think you're future-proofing. Sometimes smart home vendors may change, there's a new one, and there's some integration that can work and that cannot work. Then smart home, your current smart home may be just obsolete because it moved from wired to wireless. Then you think that, okay, the smart home that I catered now, I think it can only last like 5-6 years. You say that it's future-proofing it? No, it's just improving your lifestyle to solve current issue like your current scene setting and whatsoever. So just now we talk about form and function and how the society has evolved in terms of homes. Because I did do a lot of offices. Offices, since pandemic, everything is talking about modular and high adaptability. So when we design things, it have to be movable. A meeting room can be a modular space. A pantry can be a meeting room. A pantry can be a speaker corner. So everything becomes modular. So when we start to design spaces like this, it becomes semi-public space. So homes could be like that. From a dining, it became a study. Of course, a dining can always be a multifunctional spaces, but most important, it shouldn't take up so much space that it cannot move around. Some people say that a good design means sometimes you may not even know the function immediately. It just works. A chair can be a coffee table and can be a table. It's like it can be a multifunctional use, being modular furniture, especially for office space. Really, it can be a coffee table, it can be a chair, it can be a stool, and it can be a storage. It be 4-in-1, 5-in-1, so functional. So houses also sometimes move into to this. There's some furniture designer going to this kind to make it very adaptive. So sometimes we have to design in a way that it have to be modular.
I'm not sure whether you all hear what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is that with all this adaptability and you being resourceful with what's given to you, it's hardly saying that we are designing for that function, but rather we are designing for that adaptability, which is then questioning the purpose of the designer and the designer's profession, in the sense that we are designing for a specific purpose. There's some element of permanence, and because it has to serve that function.
Oh, because sometimes the way we design shape human behavior. What we design shape their habits, shape their behavior to in a better way.
But I think we need to then think about certain patterns, right? What are consistent? What are absolutely timeless needs under the broad umbrella of shelter and daily living? Surely there are, within a home we can talk so much, but you need a space to rest, to eat, to socialize, to decompress. So various archetypes do exist. How then do we enable certain sense of flexibility in usage? Then that depends on the genius of the author, the creative author, the one who designs it. So furniture that can perform many functions, does that take the creation or designer out of it? I beg to differ. Actually, it takes more thought to create a piece of furniture that can serve multiple purposes. But I mean, when Jackie was saying that, was describing it, I got a little bit disturbed and depressed. Like, why is everything so demanding, you know? Like one chair needs to now be like 4, 5 other different things.
Transformers.
No money to buy.
Why can't the chair just be a chair, right? But I think in the broader sense, it seems to be a reflection of this world that we live in. In the workplace, we don't wear one hat anymore. We need to do many things at different times of day, or even do multiple things at one moment. And therefore, the furniture, the spaces that we inhabit needs to be as equally hardworking as we, the humans, are.
So with that, right, we've come to the end of this very interesting episode with two of my favorite designers in Singapore. If I haven't said, I'm going to say it again. Right?
Again,
Thanks,
wow.
Dennis. Thanks, Jackie, for
Thanks, Astley, for
joining
having
us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So please hit the like, subscribe button, comment, share, zam until the button breaks. We also can. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.